Hey, what's up, guys? I've got another article here today that I think is really interesting for us to go over. I think it is a great opportunity to kind of discuss how identity politics is used in the media that we see on a daily basis to create division, polarize public opinion, and subtly push us towards adopting a certain perspective or conclusion. And I think it's important to understand how this framing works in order to help us critically evaluate the narratives in the media that we're presented with on a daily basis and help make us more informed voters and consumers and advocates for our community. So let's go ahead and just go over it. Let's get started. Feeling betrayed by increased minority support for Trump, Black women say they're stepping back. Donald Trump's victory has dismayed many politically engaged Black women, and they're reassessing their enthusiasm for politics and organizing. As she checked into a recent flight to Mexico for vacation, Teja Smith chuckled at the idea of joining another women's march on Washington. As a Black woman, she just couldn't help see herself helping replicate the largest act of resistance against then-President Trump's first term in January. Even in an election year where Trump questioned his opponent's race, held rallies featuring racist insults, and falsely claimed Black migrants in Ohio were eating restaurant residents' pets, he didn't just win a second term, he became the first Republican in 2 decades to clinch the popular vote, although by a small margin. It's like people have spoken, and this is what America looks like, said Smith, the Los Angeles-based founder of the advocacy social media agency Get Social. And there's not too much more fighting you're going to be able to do without losing your mind. After Trump was declared the winner over Democratic President Kamala Harris, and many politically engaged Black women were so dismayed by the outcome that they were reassessing, but not completely abandoning, their enthusiasm for electoral politics and movement organizing. Okay, this is exactly the type of thing that I'm talking about here, okay? The framing that they're using. President Trump held racist rallies, falsely claimed Black migrants in Ohio were eating residents' pets. First off, Donald Trump is not a racist, and he does not make racist comments. You know what does happen? The media misquotes him, cuts him halfway through a statement, and edits out the context in order to misrepresent his statements and what he's saying. And let me go ahead and show you, because they've been doing this since the beginning of his first administration. You know that whole narrative where Donald Trump does not condemn white supremacy? He does. He did. In fact, he condemned white supremacy right there on stage at Charlottesville. I'll show you an example right now. We've got Snopes. No, Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. August 15th, 2017, President Donald Trump calls neo-Nazis and white supremacists who attended the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, very fine people. The actual context, in a news conference after the rally protesting the planned removal of a Confederate statue, Trump did say there were very fine people on both sides, referring to the protesters and counter-protesters. He said in the same statement he wasn't talking about neo-Nazis and white supremacists, who he said should be condemned totally. And you see, that's the part you never hear about in the media, because they spent the next 4 years asking him that same exact question over and over and over again. But no, he condemned white supremacy from the outset. Right at Charlottesville, he condemned white supremacy, and that whole narrative was just media fabrication. And just to be thorough, in terms of when they're saying falsely claiming Black migrants in Ohio were eating pets, that's what the residents of Springfield were saying. Let me show you real quick. Police reports. Tuesday, August 26th, 911 call from Springfield emerged in which a resident said 4 Haitian migrants were off with geese at a local park. The report obtained by the Federalist came with a recording of a man reporting the incident to a local dispatcher. I'm sitting here, I'm riding the trail, I'm going to my orientation for my job today, and I see a group of Haitian people. There were about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hands, the caller said, explaining he saw the Haitians driving off with the birds. That's what the resident of Springfield said. So no, Trump isn't making that up. And in terms of cats and dogs, let me show you another one. No one's making this up. This is a resident of Springfield talking about a van getting pulled over with like 100 cats in it, according to him. At least that's what he thought. I'm going to mute my audio real quick, and then we'll play it off the desktop audio.
There was a van pulled over that had over 100 cats in it with the Haitians. They said they was eating them.
Actually?
Yeah.
Not fake news.
Not fake news.
So a van was collecting cats and eating them.
I watched it happen, yeah. Watched them get pulled over with the cats and admit to the police that they was eating them.
You're not joshing with me.
No, I'm almost 50 years old, buddy. No.
You don't mess around.
No. We've lost a whole bunch of cats. There was a...
Come on, man. The news is lying to you. They're gaslighting you. This is how they pin Republicans and conservatives as being racist or xenophobic. And this is how they shut down nuanced conversations by trying to use emotional rhetoric to demonize their opponent in order to straw man their opponent's argument and dismiss them without any sort of nuanced discussion. Dude, you can't let them keep doing this. We can't let them keep doing this to our dialogue in this country. Let's switch gears here back to the original article that we were talking about, because the whole point here is to go through all of the different ways that they use framing techniques to manipulate your opinion and manufacture your consent, right? And so we've gone through a bunch at this point. But the one that I really want to focus on, because it's the one that they use the most in this article, is identity politics, right? The constant reference to black women as a monolith, right? What it does is it creates a false dichotomy. It creates an in-group, out-group. If you are not part of the group that agrees with black women as a monolith, then you face social ostracization from your tribe. They're utilizing the subconscious mechanisms of tribalism here to try to manipulate you into feeling obligated to agree with your in-group, right? Because the fear is supposed to be that if you don't, then you are potentially going to be otherized or placed in the out-group and socially ostracized, right? And so they use all types of manipulative framing techniques here in this article to try to manufacture consent, right? That's really kind of what we're talking about here, how the media manipulates you to manufacture consent. And so I think that, it's a really great example. And when you have articles, hundreds of articles like this a week, right? Thousands of articles that use these techniques a month. And this is the AP, right? When the main sources of news, right? Mainstream news is promoting this stuff and it's being pumped in every TV everywhere. You end up brainwashing people subconsciously, especially the people that aren't the type to pay attention to this stuff in and out all day. So I just wanted to help people be aware of that. Let's stay aware of critical thinking skills. Let's stay aware of the ways that the media uses framing techniques to manipulate us. And let's try to overcome this stuff, guys, because this is wrong. What they're doing is wrong. They're essentially lying in this article, and they think you're stupid. So, hey, I appreciate you so much, guys. Thank you for joining me on the second one today. Trying to get the hustle going, man. So, hey, thank you so much, guys. I'll talk to you guys again soon.